this. Um, I really need your guys' help watching. When people are watching live, you can tell me when it echoes horrible. And when I checked it on my computer, to be honest with you guys, um, I thought the echo was because I was looking at it on my phone. So if there's any sound issues or other issues, let me know. I'm going to try to check right now myself. But if you guys notice anything funny, please let me know. Okay, looks like we're all good. So, what the heck are we talking about today? Well, in honor of First Time Homebuyer Month, we're going to be talking about what I think is the best way to start looking for a home. Now, for investors, different category, and for all kinds of other folks, different categories. But for general home buyers, especially if you don't know the area well, this is everything you got to know to get you to where the last video was, which was all about the financing, all that type of stuff. So now we're not going to talk about inspection or anything after that. You're going to deal with that later with your realtor, or you can look at my videos on the process. We're going to talk about purely the very beginning from I've got a pre-approval or maybe not, to hey, I want to write an offer. Okay. So we're going to give people a minute to join in, but keep in mind this is a live show. The whole purpose of the live show is so that you guys can ask questions and tune in. I know a bunch of people are going to watch later. I know. That's okay. I'm happy to have you here. But if you guys can join live, you're going to have a better time. Okay. Okay. So you're thinking about buying a home, and where the heck do we start? Well, to be honest with you, a lot of the websites online are pretty darn good. They're not perfect. They're going to miss things, but they're pretty darn good. So if it were me, the first thing that we really got to care about is knowing your number. Okay. I know that a lot of people, when they hop online, and let's go ahead and share this right here, right? Let's share this guy. A lot of people, when they go looking for a home, the first thing they do is they sort by lowest price. I don't know why it's featuring that one first. Is that, oh, it's Spotlight. And they go, oh my God, there's 55,000. We are set. This is land. Land is the whole thing, right? So what we want to do before we get started is we want to look at what the heck you are looking for. Let's pretend you're looking for a 3-bedroom. Let's pretend you're looking for a house, not a condo, not a townhome, nothing like that. And are we allowed to sort by acres? Sorting by acres helps. I'm not sure if Realtor.com lets us sort by acres. There we go. We're going to look at under an acre. Okay, we're not looking at places with a bunch of land. If this is kind of what you're looking for, you want to take a look at these. Oh, look at this. They got another trap with the pendings. We want to look at only stuff that is live, not stuff that is pending. Where are we at? Just sold, active, pending. Just get rid of those. Get rid of foreclosures. Get rid of 55 plus communities. Existing and new is fine. Sweet. Did not work. It's still pending on there. View. Let's say we're looking at Chehalis. Now, it doesn't have to be Chehalis. It could be a bigger bubble. It could be any city. It could be all of Lewis County or neighboring counties. I don't care. Live your best life. But when we look, again, we're going to hop in here and we're going to see, oh, $330,000. Awesome. And look, that listing does exist, but there's probably going to be problems with the stuff on the lower end of the budget. I'm not saying that they're never possible, right? But if we're trying to figure out our kind of early plan here, we want to see what all of these generally cost, right? So as we're kind of scrolling through here, we have, what did that say? 18 homes, 19 homes. What if we go in about 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we're looking for a 3-bedroom house, they're around $425,000. If you can swing 425,000, you can probably get something good. If you can get a little higher budget, you can get something really nice, right? Now, that is going to be the kind of goal budget that you want. And if you're lucky, you might be able to get something down here, right? It might be in good shape. Maybe you find a good deal. But what I don't like for people is when they show up and they go, "Hey, I got 330. We're living in Chehalis, baby." Maybe, maybe, but most likely you'll get disappointed. So I want you to figure out roughly what it costs to get what you're looking for. On that same note, what I get a lot is, "Hey, I've got a whatever it is, $400,000 budget. I need 10 acres for my chickens." I know, I know, I love your chickens too. Okay, I love your chickens too. But you've got to decide if it's worth living in the boonies for the chickens, because a lot of the time, especially out here, if you do want acres for your chickens or for your whatever, that is going to mess up your price, right? It's going to bring the price way, way, way up. So out the gate, the easiest thing you can do is take a look at how much stuff costs, right? And again, we're not looking at the cheapest. Don't sort by lowest price. I mean, you can, but go halfway down, right? And that's the ballpark that we want to be in, okay? Then once you kind of figure out what ish it's going to cost, right? So again, we're about 10 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're around here. 425, 450. Let's say 450. And we get onto this page. There's going to be all kinds of information on here. The next thing I want you to really look at is going to be this monthly payment tab. Okay. The interest rates, I don't hate. I don't hate it. Let me actually see how far off that is from some of the rates I'm seeing right now. Rates are in the neighborhood of 6.6. So yeah, it's pretty close. The rate's pretty close. The down payment, you don't have to do 20%. You can do pretty low. I would recommend putting in 3.5%, because even zero loan programs are they got some fees and things on them a lot of the time. So if we do 3.5%, we need a $16,000 down payment, give or take, a little less than that. And that brings our payment to $3,400 a month, almost 35. So, as a rough idea to kind of get your creative juices flowing and to figure out what you think you're going to need, this is kind of a starting point, right? It's a good way to kind of wrap your head around, okay, what can you get? What can you afford? Now, keep in mind, the biggest thing right now is interest rates are going crazy, right? So just to spread a little bit of hate for those people that have 3% rates, if we were to change this interest rate to 3%, that takes almost $1,000 off, right? 6.6? Yeah, takes $1,000 off. So as rates change, the total monthly payment will also change, okay? So it's not going to be the same every single day. Rates don't change super crazy overnight, right? But the rates will have a big impact. Right now, they seem to be creeping up and up and up and up, which is pretty brutal. I personally didn't think they were going to get over 6.5. Look at them now. But you want to make sure that the interest rate's showing properly and that the down payment's showing properly. What I get a lot of the time is people will log into this and it'll have something crazy, like for some reason it'll bug out and be like 80% down and like a 2% rate or something. And they're like, "Oh my God, that's incredible." Take a second with this calculator, make sure you're doing stuff that's real world, right? If you are doing 3.5, that, again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's what people are doing these days, or even zero down, right? Especially VA zero down. And make sure that this is, again, about the right rate, because you don't want to get catfished. You don't want the program to make you think that you're getting a much better deal than you actually are, right? Boom, 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 boom. What is that? We've got all kinds of weird buttons. Technology is amazing because we keep getting newer, nicer, fancier things, but also they keep moving all of my buttons, which is making me crazy. But once you kind of have an idea for what you're looking for in terms of price, in terms of area, it's actually really funny. This is listed with Dan Giske, one of my favorite other realtors in town. Great guy. But once you kind of know roughly the ballpark you're looking in terms of price, in terms of area, all that type of stuff, then you're going to start your shopping. So, again, there's going to be some tricks here. Okay. When we look at our map, clear our boundary. This map is so squished. I wish there was a better way to make it bigger. Does that fix it at all? Fix it a bunch. So when we're looking around, right, in general out here, Olympia, super expensive. Chehalis, super expensive. Everywhere else, as you get farther away, you're going to get better prices. But you also want to consider lifestyle. Sometimes, you know what, if you have a $250,000 budget, that's all you got, you're looking Longview and Aberdeen and Hoquiam. And you got to figure out if you want to be at the beach or if you want to be close to everything Portland, right? If you're going out this way, you're getting a lot of lakes, a lot of rivers, a lot of nature. Getting out this way, you're getting a lot of coast. We're not allowed to talk about schools as realtors, but you do have to consider lifestyle in terms of schools, in terms of neighborhoods, right? It's not just about the house. Remember, you can fix your house. Okay, you can buy a major fixer house and you can work on it. That's okay. But you can't pick up the house and move it. There's a reason they say location, location, location. Okay. And the other big part is acreage, right? A lot of people are really hell bent on having acres. Most people, by the time they get to the end of the process, just get a really nice house in a small lot. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially for your first house, you don't need acres. You have a lot to work on in terms of your yard and your house and getting used to that. You can add acres later. And if you've got the budget, right? If you're in the $800,000 budget and you want to get some land, okay, let's do it, right? But when you're looking in the 350s, we've got some conversations to have, okay? And also in terms of just prices and how much stuff costs, I think that sellers do also need to kind of consider what the heck stuff costs, right? Because I know that we've got, these little starter houses like, oh, it's just $600,000. But man, with these interest rates right now, I think this is why sellers are having a hard time getting the prices that they want. Because at a 6.6 rate, 3.5 down, like this isn't a super luxurious home in Tumwater. Tumwater? I think I clicked Tumwater. Yeah. It's not a super luxurious home in Tumwater, but their monthly payment's almost $5,000, right? Why are there no buyers? That's why. Most buyers are going to be thinking more in terms of their monthly payment, especially right now. So, not to say that you should ignore the price of a home. You shouldn't, but consider the payment more. Something that we come across a lot is, say, this home, $589. If we get $10,000 off the price, it goes from $4,736 to $4,658. So a lot of the time we will see deals where people are very passionate about the price, but 58 versus 658 versus what? 736. It's like a 70 or $80 difference. A 70 or $80 difference on that is not a huge deal, right? So as we're looking at homes, don't be overly concerned about if something is $410 versus $420,000, right? The $10,000 difference really isn't a big deal. The big deal is typically going to be in this rate and other aspects. Like we don't really want really big repairs. Repairs right now are a fortune. Brand new kitchen can be $30,000 to $60,000. Brand new roof, $15,000. Foundation, $15,000. Right? I just redid a room with sheetrock and new paint. We're looking at $5,000 or $6,000. So anytime you touch something with the house, it seems like it's $15,000, just like every time or more. So if you are looking at new homes, you want to be focused on your monthly rate more than the price, and you typically want to get something in good shape. Because fixers, if you even can get a fixer, it is a whole thing, right? So once you start looking and you figured out these couple of things, again, these are my top big things to figure out starting at, right? How do we hide this guy again? Stop. Sweet. So again, the big things we want to be looking at, we want to figure out how much can we afford, where can we get that, right? Again, if a 2-bedroom house is starting at $250,000 in Hoquiam and Aberdeen, and that's the lowest price we got, and you're showing up with a $200,000 budget, it's going to be a really bad time. You're going to be spending a lot of time, a lot of energy looking at stuff that you can't get, right? So once you figure out roughly what you can afford, what you can get, where it's at, then we want to figure out a list. And I cannot emphasize enough the consideration of the areas. A lot of people that move out here really have a hard time figuring out where they want to go. People are like, hour from Olympia, hour from the airport, hour from something else. I hear you, but all these small towns have different small town vibes. They are not the same. Okay. Let's take a second to check out this map. Now, this isn't going to be, we're going to do a video on the most and least desirable towns. We're going to have a lot of town content going on here, right? But let's just take a second and kind of look at the map of the area, get kind of the lay of the land, if you will. So out here, we've got a couple of major draws. First one is going to be Olympia. A lot of people want to be as close to Olympia as possible and close to the center luxury part as possible, right? A lot of other people want to be in the Tacoma area because they want to be next to JBLM. And so that's pretty desirable, but also as you get away from it, it gets pretty desirable. So we kind of end up with a super desirable Olympia area, super desirable Tacoma, kind of desirable Chehalis, where I'm at. And then you get kind of everything relative to there, farther away, right? Like Shelton, McCleary, Oakville, Pale, Vader, Mossy Rock, Eatonville, Yelm. They're all going to be relatively affordable compared to the stuff right in town. A little bit smaller, a little bit on the up and up, and really cool things to do. But even when we look at Yelm, there's a tremendous difference. Can I even see it from here? Where is it? Is it right here? Like Lawrence? No. There's going to be a lot going on in Yelm. Yelm does not have the same vibe. It's a bigger town, more military. There's a whole community called Clear Lake right in here somewhere that has a gated community, a bunch of really cool stuff. It's going to be very much in the woods, right? You get up here into McCleary or Shelton, you're going to be getting, again, very, very small towns with very few things nearby. For the most part, if you do want to kind of get more towards civilization, you're going to have to go back into Olympia. Versus Yelm has more stuff in town and has a couple of big towns nearby as well. Centralia Chehalis has a decent amount of stuff going on. We've got Walmart, a bunch of other things. And so again, like if you're in Rochester, you're out of town, but you're also relatively close to Tumwater and to Centralia. I don't know why it's clicking on that thing. What even is that? Anyways. So, yeah, so we're going to be looking for lifestyle, right? You don't just want to pick a random place out of town. You really do want to look at towns if you can help it, okay? And have specific places in mind if you can help it. So once you have a specific plan in mind, you then can start making some educated decisions in terms of, hey, I've got $450,000. I want a home in Chehalis to start looking at homes. You want to figure out then what your priorities are in a home. The specific home will matter. Do you need a place with open floor plan because you want to keep an eye on everyone? Do you want the kids' rooms upstairs so you hear the stomps all day, every day while they're running around up there? Do you want to be in a cul-de-sac? Do you want to be on a major road? Do you want to be a little more out of town where it's a little bit quieter, or in town where everything's more convenient? You want to think about the specific house and not just in terms of, again, 3-2, super cheap, yay. You want to be thinking about lifestyle in terms of, again, nearby stuff, flow of the house, that type of stuff. Again, if the kitchen isn't perfect, you can always remodel the kitchen. You can always make the kitchen prettier. But you can't pick up the house and move it. You can't really knock down houses or knock down walls on the outside and move them around. You can't really control who your neighbors are. So the stuff that you can't control should be your bigger deal breakers. If there's carpet in there and the house is perfect in every way, except for the fact that there's carpet, probably a great house, right? If the house is perfect in every way, but you hate the floor plan or the neighborhood isn't great, maybe not the right house, okay? So once you figure out more or less what you're looking for, that is often the best time to start getting in touch with realtors. Realtors, in my opinion, thrive the best when you have direction. When someone says, I'm looking in the state of Washington for something, I would love to help, but I don't know what to do, right? I have some clients right now. I love them so, so much. And if you're watching, how's it going, guys? But they're like, we either want a multi-generational house, a place with ADUs, maybe none of that, anywhere from Vancouver to like Yelm to like north of there. I can't do much with that, right? But if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a duplex in Chehalis, Centralia, I can do a lot then, right? So the more specific your search is, the better. When you are going to shop around, do yourself a huge favor, guys. And this is speaking as someone that is actually benefiting from this a lot. When you are on this website, do you see this big old button right here, request a tour? Request a tour does not ever connect you to the listing agent. It doesn't do it on any website except homes.com. If you do homes.com, you will actually be connected to the listing agent. But for every other website, Realtor and Zillow and everybody else, when you push that button, it connects you with a buyer's agent. There's going to be two agents in every transaction. One's a listing agent. Listing agent represents the seller. Then there's going to be a buyer's agent. The buyer's agent represents the buyer. So when you push this, they're going to assign you a buyer's agent who is spending money to talk to you. They're going to be annoying because they spent money to talk to you, right? And this is across all platforms. So if you want to talk to the listing agent, you're going to have to probably go on homes.com, or I think there may be ways if you scroll down and look for the fine print to find where the actual listing agent is. Yeah, there. See, way on the bottom. They don't want you to push this button. They want you to push the button up top. You can find it if you scroll down far enough. But do yourself a favor and find yourself a buyer's agent that you like, okay? You don't want to get assigned to someone random, and then they'll send you paperwork, and then you're stuck with them, and you hate them, right? Nothing more awkward or more awful than that. If you can skip all of that and just start looking for a realtor to help you get into the home that you can agree on the price with and that you can trust. Trust, I think, is number one more than anything. I don't care how much someone charges if you hate them, right? It could be the cheapest person ever, but if you can't trust them and you're not having a good time, it's not worth anything, right? Having someone to have a good experience with that you can trust and that will take care of you is always number one above every other aspect, in my opinion. Unless you're a super savvy investor. So you want to find a realtor that you like. How do you find someone that is good? It's hard. I've made mistakes before too, hiring bad realtors, right? You want to find someone that seems like they care. You want to find someone that is super responsive. And again, for me, my number one thing that I look for is I want to find someone trustworthy. Trustworthy is going to be a huge thing because when someone says, hey, this is a good price for the house, or hey, this is a good quote for a repair, or things that you should be getting fixed, you need to be able to trust them. If you can't trust them, it's a bad time. Okay. How do I kill this guy? Stop. Sweet. So if I were shopping for a home, that is how I would start, how I would go about it. But what do you guys think? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns? Would you go shopping for a home in a different way? Anything I say completely offend you and you think is completely wrong? If so, put it in the comments down below. Again, it's been a quiet live. If you guys want to tune in I believe is next week. We have one more Sunday. I've got to figure out what we're going to do this Sunday. It's going to be still buyer centric for one more week. And then after that, we're going to have the good old monthly market update. So if you're looking for more buyer tips, want to pop in and have all of your questions answered live, you know what to do. Call Castro. I'll talk to you guys soon.